I know I'm late to the party on this one, but it's better late than never. So I saw two films yesterday, Never Let Go, which I'm going to start off by talking about. And then I went right into Beetlejuice, which I have a review for that up on my channel right now. So if you'd like to hear my thoughts on Beetlejuice, please watch this video first and then go check out my thoughts on Beetlejuice now live on my channel. So I'm going to kick things off by talking about Never Let Go. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and jump right into it. So Never Let Go is the newest 2024 horror survival thriller film helmed by Alexandre Aja, whose previous work has been The Hills Have Eyes remake, Cruel, and High Tension. And I thought Cruel was a very fun and effective way to showcase an alligator film, just the small scale to that film, and and regarding that it does take place all within one location. I thought that was a very fun time at the movies, and just to see what Alexandre Aja could do with such limited resources while creating a very tension-filled experience. I thought that film was very effective with what it set out to do. And now we move on to High Tension. Now, which this is a controversial film in the horror community. You either love it or you hate it. This is a film that if you can get past the ridiculous and dumb ending that this film has, if you completely remove that, if you stop this movie right before that twist is explained, this actually turns out to be one of the best, I think, slasher films, in recent memory. It's an ending that you can easily tear apart. You can easily be like, this doesn't make sense, this doesn't make sense, this doesn't make sense, this would never have happened. You can easily tear apart that ending. But if you just look at High Tension just as a standalone slasher, disregarding that ending, this is a very well helmed slasher film, and I thought it was I think it does a lot of risks, and it takes a lot of swings with its story that I think you don't see nowadays in slasher films. And just I like the almost grindhouse, very kind of dirty, down in the dirt kind of look that film has. And that's a film that I watch once a year. Same as all of you out there, I constantly roll my eyes at that ending. But if you stop the movie before that, I think your opinion will change on that movie. And now The Hills Have Eyes remake, it's been a few years since I've actually seen it, won't lie, but from memory, I thought this was one of the horror remakes that is actually better than the original. I thought Alexandre Aja did a lot of creative moves with the remake, and I thought that he created a very modern look, and I thought he created a film that had something to say, that had something kind of worth telling and worth recreating Wes Craven's original classic. And now, moving on from that to Never Let Go, let's jump right into it. Is this a good movie? No, I am not going to sugarcoat it. Never Let Go, this isn't an awful movie. This is just a film that I can never see myself rewatching again. But there are some positives. There are some positives regarding this movie, which I'm going to go from positives to negatives first. So kicking off the positives, the biggest positive I can give Never Let Go is the performances in this film are incredible. Halle Berry, she's not in the movie much per se, but I thought her performance was really good in the movie, and definitely added some mystery and intrigue, playing this almost crazy lady type character. And then we have the two kids in this movie, and to me, they were the show stealers here. These are the two characters that I'm going to be thinking about, after I saw this movie. Like, if I ever think about, Never Let Go from now to the end of the year, I'm going to be thinking of these two actors. Because, kid actors in horror films, nowadays, it's like a box of chocolates. You never really know what you're going to get. You could get, one of the best performances of the year, or you could get one of the worst performances of the year. So yeah, you never really know what you're going to get when you have two kids, I guess, really leading the story here. And they do a great job. They do a great job in the tense scenes. They have good, brother back and forth. There's a relationship there, that I bought into. Like, just the smaller conversations with them, I thought really added a lot to this story. So, their performances really went a long way in this film. And now, moving on from that, it's a well shot film. It's a well directed film. There's some minor, tense scenes in the film. It's a good looking movie. The production design is really, really good in the film, actually. What else? And yep, that's about it. That's about where my positives end for Never Let Go. So moving right into the negatives for Never Let Go. The biggest negative for me is this movie's insulting ending. Like, this is an ending that just does not make sense. Like, it's supposed to be some big reveal, some big twist that, when you watch a second time, you will look at the story completely differently. Don't give me that bullshit. This is an ending that is so obvious from the first 2 minutes of this movie. Like, you know exactly where this movie is going to go. Alexandre Aja isn't even hiding it. He's not even hiding it in here. Like, the ending is literally in plain sight. I understand that this is a film that kind of deals with two sides on if what they're hearing and what they're seeing, on if that is real or if it's just a hoax. I understand that that's a big part of the mystery and the intrigue to this film. Like, I fully get that. But when there's no surprise from your twist, like by the second act, like, the twist is basically unintentionally revealed. Like, yeah, and just even when we do get to like the final 2 minutes of this film, it makes no goddamn sense. Because why can this family see this horrific stuff and the rest of humanity and mankind can't? Because last time I checked, there were people at the end of this movie. I am going to get into spoilers here. Like, don't see Never Let Go. I am going to talk about this ending. So the ending, you have firefighters, you have a rescue service, coming to save the two kids. At this point, Halle Berry is already dead. So she committed suicide later in the film, and the ending of the film, you have firefighters, and which basically reveals their mum was full of shit. That all this did actually, that she was lying the entire time. So what was she seeing exactly? Like, was this, like, I'm sure there's some metaphorical, reason, behind it. There's a big theme in this film regarding grief and loss of loved ones. And is that what she's saying? Like, does she miss her mum? And is that why? And she's thinking of like the bad memories. Like, I don't know. Like, why is she seeing these creatures and the rest of mankind can't? Like, it just does not make sense. I mean, where does this story come from? Like, there's really not a lot of meat to Halle Berry's story. Like, saying that the rest of mankind, is completely wiped out and, they're the last remaining survivors. Like, where did that story come from? Why are they in the middle of the woods? Where did this creature, where did these visions, is this movie just one big, like, LSD vision? Wait, LSD, yes, that's correct. I was like, guess myself there. But it makes no sense. This film asks more questions rather than answers more questions. Like, when the ending does come, like, it's supposed to be, this complete experience, but it feels like just half an experience, because it just feels like there's so much. It just feels like there's like a director's cut that had an extended ending, all right? But, this ending really pissed me off. The fact that they call this a twist. People call M. Night Shyamalan's Trap this year, that you call that a bad twist ending. Oh, fuck. To this movie, like, Trap is a bloody masterpiece. Like, that twist ending actually has a lot more to say. This twist has nothing. And the other thing is, we've seen these twist endings before, and just I don't get it. Like, as soon as this twist ending came on, I was laughing. Like, I was laughing. Like, I was the only one in the theater. Like, yeah, I bursted out with laughter. And then from there is, this story just doesn't have a whole lot of meat on its bones. It's like, this is a story that is very repetitive with a lot of its scenes. It feels like, you have a dialogue scene, that they go out into the woods, something happens, they get back to the house, they're safe. Very next day, rinse and repeat. They go out, something happens. They have to get back to the house. And just for the first 2 acts, it is literally rinse and repeat every single sequence you have seen prior in this film. It's not until the 3rd act of this movie where they kind of change it up, a bit, but then, even when they do change it up, it's like, to me, it just came across as very cheesy. Like, the fact that, this is going to be a spoiler review, but the fact that one of the brothers, finds one of these creatures, virus, forest things, I don't know what the term is for them, but that he gets infected and then becomes evil. Like, that just doesn't make sense. Like, was that all in his head? Was that all in his brother's head? Like, did their mum brainwash them that much to the point where what they're saying, like, was it real? Because, the house did actually burn down. So, was this actually real? Is it only select people, that can see these creatures? Do you need some supernatural power? Like, it doesn't make sense. The more I think about it, the more dumber that this ending gets. I am sorry. And now, the characterization, there's a loss in the film of their entire family, grandpa, grandma, basically everybody's dead. And that's about it. That is the maximum amount of characterization that this film cares to give. There's not really a whole lot to them, and when the best character in your film is a dog, you know you have a problem with your film there. And if anything, the dog gave more tension to the film than the actual characters. Like, the film is so heavy on really making the audience care for these people, but you just don't care. Like, there's very little characterization given to them, and just when something does go down, you're more just watching it for the sake of watching it. You don't feel tense in any way, and just that's disappointing. There's one scene with a dog that I thought was actually very dark, and I'm glad they didn't take it to that extreme level. And just this was a film that I felt I've seen better versions of this. This feels like a film that's very reminiscent of this year's The Watchers. It's basically the exact same film, just with Halle Berry in it. That's like the only thing that this movie has separating. But it's the exact same story. They have to stay outside, and there's this crazy story about some creatures that come hunting for them or watching them after dark. Like, there's even going back to the early 2000s, I can think of like 20 other movies that follows this exact same premise. And and it's just very disappointing. I am done. I felt ripped off watching this movie. I didn't really feel like it had something to say. Like, if you think I'm overthinking the ending and there is actually a clear explanation, definitely feel free to go ahead and tell me in the comments. I am willing to be convinced about what I saw. But as for now, this is a bad start to kick off the month of October, and I'm going to have a few more reviews coming out throughout October that you guys will have the pleasure of seeing. As I said at the beginning of this review, please feel free to go check out my Beetlejuice review. And other than that, guys, don't watch Never Let Go, and I will see you in the next video.